per square foot. So
is I'll come up with it in my head. You keep answering the question.
we're just shy of 100,000. I mean, of 10,000 square feet. It's 9,500.
It's 9,200.
9,200.
9,200.
Okay, so so the 4 million divided by 9,200 is the.
No, 1.4 million divided by 9,200. You talking about the renovations?
There are over 800 million people worldwide. That's close to 1 billion people worldwide are members of co-ops. That's that they maybe get their electricity through an electric co-op, or maybe they work in an agricultural co-op, or maybe they shop at a food co-op, or maybe they live in a housing co-op, or maybe, you know, all of the above.
Food co-ops became very popular in the 70s. Because people found that they could not find the kinds of natural foods that they were looking for in a regular supermarket, and so they had to band together to put together an organization with which they could buy those foods.
It serves a different purpose, you know, it serves a lot of different purposes for people, you know, so, I mean, on the very nuts and bolts level, it's a place to get food, you know, it's a place to get a certain type of food and a certain mix of food, and that mix is driven again by, you know, what our members have said they want.
The board is charged with representing what the members want, and so there are certain things that the board will not make a decision on its own, but will go to the members for. There are other things that the board is making decisions on behalf of the membership.
Everything up to cooking food together, sharing food together, you know, informal financial lending. There's all, you know, these are cooperatives. The idea that some of them are formalized and some of them are not formalized is a minor distinction, and I think that what we're seeing is with the implosion of a lot of formal corporate institutions, we're starting to see this hunger for formalizing cooperative enterprises and relationships that we have.
We're in, I think, a new kind of food revolution, where we're realizing that it's not just natural food, but local foods that we want to have, and less processed foods that we want to have. And so we're again looking to find ways to get connected more locally. And that's not something that a national food chain can do.
So with the regular corporation, you know, it's owned by its shareholders, and they are people who don't necessarily, and usually don't at all, have anything else to do with the company other than that ownership status.
They don't work there. They don't
work there. They don't buy the product. They don't. It's an investment, and what they expect from that investment is a profit.
No matter how good a grocery is, no matter how well intentioned they may be, no matter how good their products might be. For example, there's a beloved grocery chain that most of us love, whose profits ultimately go to Germany.
So it's not that there's some sort of infrastructure being built up and then some profits are being siphoned off and going to London or Tokyo or Sao Paulo or New York, right? But that money can stay in the community, so it can be reinvested so that there is actual economic growth.
A subtle but very important distinction is that with a corporation, if you own 1 share, you get 1 vote. If you own 10 shares, you get 10 votes. And if you get 51% of the shares, you control the company. With a co-op, it doesn't matter how much you have invested, it doesn't matter how much you spend, it's 1 member, 1 vote.
If you're a person, you have the same say as everyone else.
What it means is that no one person can take control of the co-op, which in a corporation it can.
And so by coming together as a community, we collectively own this tremendous asset. At that level, it's already amazing. But on top of that, we have control over it, and we have a say, and we can change what's happening within there. The fact that the United Nations, at the level of everything else that's happening in the world, right? It could be a theme about public health, about gender, about children, about housing, about climate, right? Anything. That they said, look people, cooperatives are the thing. This organization where they show up at some country to have their meeting and the president is there and the UN Secretary General is there and they're all talking to these people being like, you're important, you're the way forward, this is how we're doing this, right? So I think that there is this really big opportunity to have a shift where people there's a global international campaign to raise awareness about cooperatives, because that really is the way, despite marketing to the contrary, or despite competitors in in other private sectors that are non-cooperative, that this is a really positive model for all kinds of businesses in a way that meets everyone's needs. And if there's a cooperative that's not meeting your needs, you can get involved and change the direction it's going in. Our sales per square foot were astronomical, through the roof, because we only had 500 square feet and we were doing, you know, close to $1 million of sales at some point. Sales seem like we need to grow. Our membership growth seems like it's time to grow. The fact that, you know, our sales are just doubling every year seems like maybe it's time to grow. The fact that we're a really small store to begin with, you can barely move around, all of this is pointing in that direction. Even in our current store, where we have cage-free eggs and free-range eggs, you know, we sell out of them all the time because we've only got so much fridge space. Or we have to stockpile so much of it and it doesn't get restocked and, you know, it goes spoiled or something like that. So being able to even just have more retail space means that we'll have a better rotation of the products that we have, so they're always going to be fresher, a wider variety, wider selection. And the more people we have shopping and the more people we have as members, that drives the price down on everything across the board. I think that people internally felt like, you know, this neighborhood deserves better, and that we have been at fault by not being able to serve everyone, not being able to advertise and even let people know that we're here, and having a rather homogenous membership. So I think that internally there was some sort of guilt that people felt like it was incumbent upon them to be able to expand.
It's great. It's a wonderful space. It's pretty reasonably priced. Sometimes when you're looking to get organic or fresh or whatever, everything's pretty expensive. This is akin to the prices at Whole Foods, but here and not in Fairmount or South Philly, and also more local and more responsible.
Do you like that store?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
What do you think if you go back, that you'll buy mostly from there?
The fruits and vegetables and the herbal stuff I like.
We have over 1,300 members, which is unheard of. I mean, that's unheard of for a co-op that's not open yet. I mean, usually you try to get a couple of hundred members together and then you open small, but there's such a driving force behind it, and a lot of it is, you know, these kind of social and economic and social justice and, you know, food reasons, but a lot of it also is because there's a big hole in the middle of that community.
Now, for our purposes, we had something else that we wanted to do, and that was to revitalize this location. Many folks remember Ashbourne Market as a beloved market, and a wistful look comes into their eye when they think about even the yelling of the owners getting done there, and the double parking that people had to do on Sunday mornings, and just you know, you're smiling now thinking about those things. And so the loss of that market to this community has been, I wouldn't say devastating, but it's been difficult and sad, and it's had an impact economically on our local retailers and the businesses that are on this block.
Lately the tumbleweed has been going down the middle of the street more than people. But the revitalization because of the co-op will do wonders, I think, to the community. It's such a wonderful community. People come in here and just sit and chat and collect the latest gossip and have a cup of coffee, and it will be wonderful to have the co-op there. They can do it there too, and to bring back the sense of community to this small little hamlet, I think. What do you think I am, Teddy? What would you call me? He's trying to figure out how I fit in here.
High school yenta.
High school yenta.
She is. She's the yenta of
a
the
good
area.
yenta, not a bad yenta.
Yentas are not bad.
Well, they can
They
have
can
a bad.
be bad.
Yeah.
Bad yentas. Cindy is like the communal person. So many people in the community say, I know Cindy.
Yeah.
frame shop lady.
Yeah.
I know her.
My sister worked for you.
Yeah.
I went to a customer of mine right now. There's a painter in there saying, "Say hello to Cindy."
Yeah.
Yeah, with Ashbourne, I mean, it was wonderful as across the street to have the store to watch the people go in and out of the store. The wonderful little ladies with their fur coats and diamonds in their heels going in to buy a loaf of bread as opposed to somebody in t-shirt and shorts going in to buy gum. I mean, it was great. There's the different kinds of people that would come and go.
That the fire marshal had to come out and shut down because we had too many people showing up saying they wanted this co-op.
Sorry, I'm just trying to get
There were times that the only thing that seemed more impossible than the co-op coming to fruition. There was only one thing that seemed more impossible, and that was that it would not come to fruition. And that was what we held in mind, and what kept us going.
32 years ago, I can't believe that, my wife Tamara and I chose to live in Elkins Park. And we chose to live here because of the community. Everybody, all of us. Gentlemen, a round of applause. Thank you so much. For me, this was a pleasure and an honor. Let's get this show on the road.
a